They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but when the Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup in just their 6th year of existence, it rocked the whole NHL. How could a team that's been in the league for less than a decade achieve what others have been struggling to? What was their secret? Well, let's dig deep and find out. Given the city's involvement with hockey in the past as a venue for hosting games and award shows, the thousands of hockey fans in the city didn't have a home team to cheer on, and it was a high time they did. Because the NHL wasn't ready to expand, the Las Vegas fans had to wait decades before they got the opportunity to try to enter the league. Their chance came in 2014, when billionaire Bill Foley had the blessings of the league's Board of Governors to lead the charge for an NHL expansion team to be based in Vegas. After paying the hefty expansion fee of $500 million, Foley made George McPhee the franchise's general manager in July 2016. McPhee had already worked in that capacity for the Washington Capitals for a little over a decade and a half, so this wasn't going to be too much of a challenge. The name Vegas Golden Knights was revealed to the general public on November 22, 2016, and the franchise was up and running. And with the right pieces in place, the Las Vegas Golden Knights were just getting started, writing their name in hockey's history books starting in the year 2017. 2017-2018 season. They had a rich owner, a seasoned manager, a home stadium to play in, and even home fans to cheer them on. But they didn't have players just yet. The first player they signed was Reed Duke, a free agent at the time. Former Blue Jackets and Panthers manager Gerard Gallant was made the franchise's inaugural head coach, and an expansion draft saw the Golden Knights acquire the likes of Marc-Andre Fleury and James Neal. Their first league game against the Dallas Stars in October ended with a 2-1 victory, courtesy of 2 goals from James Neal in the third period. Their second game on the road against Arizona shared the same scoreline. But before they began to enjoy this early start as a franchise, they had to witness an unfortunate tragedy. The October 1st shooting in Vegas in 2017 was the deadliest mass shooting by a single gunman in American history. In the wake of this devastation, the Golden Knights took it upon themselves to help as much as they could, making donations, visiting families and officials, and doing basically anything to uplift the city's spirits. They also honored the victims and heroes of this tragedy in their first home game, which ended 5-1 in their favor, and they went on to give the city a reason to smile and be merry throughout the season with their hockey. Forward William Karlsson, who was the star of the show, had his best season yet, reaching double-digit goals for the first time in his career with 43 goals and 35 assists. The Vegas Knights were also top of the Pacific Division, with 109 points and 51 wins, marking the first time in American sports history a team finished that high in their inaugural season. Their regular season run already exceeded expectations, but the league wasn't ready for what they would do in the postseason. Going into the first round against 2-time Los Angeles Kings, they were the obvious underdogs. But this dog was about to have its day, or series rather. The 2-time champions were eliminated in a 4-game sweep. When they also beat the San Jose Sharks and the Winnipeg Jets to reach the finals, it really spoke volumes about how determined this team was to succeed. Unfortunately, they couldn't go all the way, as the Washington Capitals snatched the Stanley Cup from them in their own historic way. They may have not won the Stanley Cup, but they had captivated the hearts of not just their fans, but every hockey fan, along with some individual awards. George McPhee won Manager of the Year, Karlsson won the Lady Byng Memorial, and Gerard Gallant won the Jack Adam Awards. The Golden Knights may have come as the newest team in the league, but they proved that they deserved a seat with the big boys. But were they able to match their success story in the following season? Let's find out. 2018-2019 season. On the back of an unprecedentedly successful inaugural season, the Golden Knights weren't taking their foot off the gas anytime soon. But replicating the feats they earned proved to be difficult, as they lost 4 out of their first 5 games. But as rocky as the regular season was for them, especially due to injuries, they still made it to the playoff, where they would meet a familiar foe. The 2019 Western Conference first-round meetup between the San Jose Sharks and the Golden Knights was a repeat of the West Conference second-round matchup. The Golden Knights won that one, and it looked like they were going to win this one too, because by Game 4, they were 3-1 up in the series. But things soon took a turn for the worst as the Sharks won their next 3 games, eliminating the 2018 Stanley Cup finalists in the process. This was far from the season they wanted, but they had the next season to bounce back again. 2019-2020. The 2019 season was one packed with surprises. The biggest was the dismissal of Gerard Gallant as head coach in January 2020 after their 4th straight defeat in a row. So, who would replace him? Peter DeBoer. They say an enemy of an enemy is an ally, and that was just what DeBoer was to the Golden Knights. He was the former coach of the rival San Jose Sharks. Nevertheless, the 2019-2020 season saw the regular season cut short because of COVID, with teams playing less than 82 regular season games. But the Golden Knights still ended at the top of their division. Going into the playoffs without their supporters cheering them on from the stands, the Golden Knights were still on fire, as they won all 3 games of the Western Conference seeding round robin. In the first round of the Western Conference, the Golden Knights breezed past the Chicago Blackhawks, winning 4-1. But it was the Vancouver Canucks that really gave them a run for their money in an intense 7-game series. The Knights eventually won, but the hard-fought battle with the Canucks most likely burnt the Knights out because the Dallas Stars sent the boys home after just 5 games, denying them a chance to play in the Stanley Cup Final. 2020-2021. The next season saw the Golden Knights face the same hurdle that they did the season before. They did everything right in the regular season and in the playoffs up until the Western Conference Final, where the Montreal Canadiens were their roadblocks stopping them this time around. The Stanley Cup Finals seemed like their biggest hurdle to scale through, but things were about to become even worse for them. 2021-2022. Since their inception, the Golden Knights hadn't slowed down a bit in their chase for glory, so when injuries started to torment the team, they were forced to hit the brakes. This was the first time in the team's history that they didn't make the playoffs. But after this disappointing season would come one that would be remembered for the entirety of the franchise's history. 2022-2023. While on the path to make history, certain individuals became history to the franchise. DeBoer was fire, while longtime player Max Pacioretty, who had spent 4 years with the Golden Knights, left to the Carolina Hurricanes along with Dylan Coghlan. Goaltender options were looking rusty, as both Robin Lehner and his backup Laurent Brossoit were out with injury. This led to the rookie Logan Thompson becoming the main man with a backup signed. Just like they did in the inaugural season, the Golden Knights went into the playoffs as top contenders, and they reaffirmed this with their performance. They lost the first game of the first-round series against the Winnipeg Jets, but that would be the only time in the series they would slip up, given that they won the next 4 games. In the second round in Western Conference Finals, they beat the Edmonton Oilers and Dallas Stars 4-2 to find themselves where they did 6 years ago in their inaugural season, the Stanley Cup Final. In Game 1 of the Finals, it was Adin Hill who proved to be the MVP, making 33 saves as the Knights beat the Panthers 5-2. The Golden Knights won Game 2 convincingly, but that wasn't the case in Game 3, where the Panthers edged them in overtime to win their first game in the series. In Game 4, the Golden Knights got off to a good start with a 3-goal lead after 11 minutes, but the Panthers left it a little too late to fight for a comeback and only got 2 goals back. Knowing that they were just a win away from lifting the Stanley Cup, the Golden Knights made sure that they were firing on all cylinders in Game 5. An amazing performance from Captain Mark Stone saw him score a hat trick to join Jack Dara and Babe Dye as the only players in NHL history to score a hat trick in a cup-winning match. After 30 minutes, the Knights were led 2-1, but drilled in 7 more goals to win the game 9-3. The moments after the final buzzer, to call it anything less than an utter burst of jubilation would be criminal. At the end of everything, Jonathan Marchessault was presented with the Conn Smythe Trophy as the MVP. Aside from William Karlsson, Riley Smith, Braden McNabb, Shea Theodore, and William Carrier, Jonathan was one of the 6 remaining original players of the Vegas Golden Knights. It was a great day indeed for these 6 guys. It was a long, hard-fought 6 years for the Golden Knights, so owner Bill Foley was right when he said Cup in 6. People left along the way, and new people joined the franchise. But one thing that didn't change was their hunger for this trophy. As for year 7, they'll go into it with a title to defend. For the more stories, don't forget to subscribe.